What's going on, people? It's your boy Nerd of Chocolate, and today I want to talk to you about budget stream builds. It seems to be a misconception in the community that if you want to become a streamer, you need to have some pretty expensive equipment. Today, let's talk about that. Okay, so I've been talking to a lot of people in the community that wanted to get into streaming, people that I know that play games, and a lot of people think that you have to have this super powerful computer to be able to get into streaming, and that's definitely not true. So my goal was to actually build a stream machine that was pretty decently priced. I tried to get it below the cost of a console because I figured if you're able to afford the cost of a console, you'll probably be able to afford something in that range for your build. So I did some research. I started looking around the internet. I tried buying everything completely used and try not to use anything that I currently owned. So I went out and got a new computer, and the first thing I found was a Mac Pro. It was an old Mac Pro from 2006, so it's a little bit dated, but the one thing that really got me was that it used Xeon processors. Now, anyone that knows anything about processors knows that Xeons are great for doing tasks for a long period of time. So these kind of CPUs are used in data centers around the world because they're good at running for long hours without having any issues. Now, when picking a computer, one of the things you have to factor in is it going to be powerful enough? And with the computer being from 2006, that was definitely going to be a concern because that's already 13 years old. So what I did is I looked at my first stream PC. My first stream PC was an HP all-in-one Elite something or rather, I can't remember the exact model. It scored about 7,000 points on Geekbench. So I used that as a starting point because I knew that system worked well. It had some issues, but the issues were the USB on the system and not necessarily the performance of the processor. So that was my baseline. So when I found this Mac Pro, I did some searching and I found that it scored about 5,000 on the CPU test on Benchmark. So it was a little bit short. Then I realized that the model that I was looking at was the absolute base model. So I thought to myself, what would it cost for me to now, 13 years later after the machine was made, upgrade that CPU from the base model to what the top model sold for? So I went around on the internet, I did some searching, and on eBay, I found the top line processor for that year for just $50. So I bought the Mac Pro and I got the processor. So the Mac Pro ended up sending me back $125, and the CPU upgrade ended up costing me about $50, like I said. So right there, that's $175 of my budget, or of my budget towards just those two items, just the tower pretty much. So then I had to find a monitor. On Kijiji, which is a online buying site for used goods, I found a monitor, LG, and I got it for $40, so perfect, right in the budget. I then got a Mac Mice microphone. It's a digital microphone. I got that one for $10. I then got these Harmon Kardon speakers, which sound great considering that I only got them for $15. And then the last thing I needed was a capture card. Now, this was the absolute bargain of this build next to the CPU, or sorry, next to the tower. I got a brand new in-box Hauppage PVR Gaming Edition 2 capture card for $10. It normally retails for 200 Canadian. I got it for 10. Not even used, not even ever been touched, new in box. It was actually on Facebook Marketplace. There was like a bidding site. It was called the Bidding Wars. Basically, you put in a bid for an item and the highest bid after 24 hours gets to keep it. Unfortunately for the buyer, no one was interested in this product, so my bid of $10 won the item. So that's how I ended up with that. So overall, the entire cost for my build was $250 Canadian. That is less than an Xbox One S discless edition, and that's cheaper than the cheapest PS4 you can buy with like a 500 GB hard drive. So it just goes to show you that effectively this build can be done rather cheap and rather effective. The computer is more than powerful enough to stream at 1080p from Xbox or PS4, anything you want to plug into it via HDMI. On the Geekbench score, it actually scores 10,000. So like I said, my baseline was about 7,000 on score. It scores 10,000, so I'm right in the right range. It's more than powerful enough. The only downside is compared to modern computers, it's a little bit lacking in terms of features. In terms of like ports and stuff, it didn't have USB 3.0. That is something I will upgrade. Luckily, the capture card that I have works perfectly fine on USB 2.0, so that wasn't actually a big deal. The other drawback actually that I thought of is power consumption. Xeons, and this computer being a dual Xeon, eats up a lot of power, but ultimately it's a great computer. It's something I'm going to keep for a long time. Originally I was going to build it and then get rid of it because I don't really need another stream machine, but I've kind of fallen in love with the system, as you can see it right there. Monitor, LG monitor, the Mac Pro tower, and everything else is kind of not plugged in right now, but it's actually a great computer. I've used it numerous times to even edit on, because it's actually pretty decent with editing, because a dedicated graphics card, unlike my main machine, which uses integrated. By the way, streaming on the cheap can definitely be done. It doesn't have to be super expensive, and the build that I have now could have been done even cheaper. I didn't have to get a Mac Pro, I just wanted to keep all my computers at my house max. If I had gone and got a PC, I could have 100% sure got it for so much cheaper. I probably could have got this build for probably about $75 cheaper, to be honest with you. But that's the build as it is. It's definitely cheap, it's in that price range. So if you're looking for a build and you want to save some money, definitely message me below. I can help you out, give you some tips, give you some pointers, and even give you some suggestions as places you can find some cheap computers that are really fast and reliable. Hope this was informative. If you have any comments, like I said, put them below. If you liked it, thumbs up. If you loved it, subscribe. Anyways, I'm out. Peace.